This episode of Android Authority is brought to you by Netflix. Head to netflix.com/android for a free 30-day trial. Alright, we're talking about the Moto X, the next flagship from LG, and a lot of Google updates. Hey, it's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And it's time for another dose of the week's top Android news. It's Android Authority Weekly. We start with the phone that seems to be on everybody's minds these days, the Moto X. A leaker with a pretty good track record went onto Google Plus to spin some new rumors. Apparently, the Moto X will be packing what is called a clear pixel camera. Now, we don't really know what that means, but it does sound like a competitor to HTC's Ultra Pixels, and we did hear that it probably will be packing 10 megapixels. The other rumor involves the software in that it will be the pure Android experience apparently and involve fast upgrade cycles. Couple all of this with the information we do know, the fact that the Moto X will be a highly customizable device, and it's pretty clear that we're all on the hook for more news. Which is why it should come as no surprise that we got very excited to get some real spec information from some carrier sources. The main tidbits? Well, the clear pixel camera actually is quite good. The battery life is really great, and the software tested on it happens to be Android 4.2.2. There also seems to be a lot of sensors on the Moto X, much like the Samsung Galaxy S4. So it looks like Motorola is trying to go for a phone that may not blow us away spec-wise, but definitely gives us a user experience that is very exceptional. And if our sources are any indication, it probably is. And finally, we got what seems to be our first glimpse at the actual Moto X device itself, when Google chairman Eric Schmidt was snapped using a never-before-seen Motorola smartphone. These are hardly paparazzi-style photos as the pieces look like part of a big photo shoot. I don't know if the focus was the phone or the chairman. Now obviously the Moto X hasn't been officially announced yet, but we may have just gotten this week our first real look into this future phone. And from Moto, we move on to LG. Every day it is looking more and more like the update to the Nexus 4 will be a repeat production by LG. A Korean site this week reported that the successor to the Nexus 4 is going to be based on the LG G2, much like how the Nexus 4 was based on the Optimus G. Now, we're not exactly sure how credible the report itself is, but it does come from a pretty reputable source. All we can say is that if LG continues its G and Nexus roles, we might be looking at a great next Nexus smartphone. Speaking of the G2, we got a very substantial leak this week and saw the phone in all of its glory. What did it show us? Well, first of all, the LG G2 does look like a very attractive device. There are no physical or capacitive buttons on the front, and the volume rockers and power button are definitely found on the back this time. If you want to see those images and this full video leak, head over to androidauthority.com for the full story. When was the last time you experienced phone envy? Were you stuck with an old phone while everybody else ran around with all of their updated smartphones? Did you make a face? Did it look like this? Well, T-Mobile is looking to fix all of that with their new Jump program. Short for Just Upgrade My Phone, this program allows you to shorten the 2-year payment plan you probably have in place for your smartphone on T-Mobile already. You simply trade in your old phone for a new one, canceling all of the outstanding payments you still have left. But there's a catch, isn't there? There's always a catch. What's the catch? Yeah, there are a couple catches. If you want to be in the Jump program, you have to pay a $10 monthly service fee. And hey, there's that face again. Alright, we're going to round out this edition of Weekly with a lot of Google news. But first, some sponsor talk. Alright everybody, I just want to talk to you real quick about Netflix. With over 26 million subscribers, it really is the world's leading internet subscription service for movies and TV. And it all streams directly to you. Whether it's to a gaming console or a smart TV, or if you happen to be on the go, maybe a trusty Android device. I remember when I first became a Netflix subscriber, I watched Battlestar Galactica on my Android phone for like an entire night. Now, as a Netflix subscriber, you can instantly watch a ton of different movies and TV shows with no late fees and no due dates. And if you happen to not be a member already, we got a deal for you. Netflix.com/Android is where you should head so you can get a free 30-day trial. That 30 days is perfect for getting a taste of what Netflix has to offer. So once again, it's netflix.com/Android for a free 30-day trial. So why don't you head on over right now so you can start watching some content today. And we're back. Google Maps recently got a very substantial upgrade to the version that we saw at Google I/O. And this week, the mobile version got the same treatment. Now in the overhauled interface, all of your searches and data will be overlaid on top of a completely mapped out background. Also, a couple of other upgrades include live traffic updates and dynamic rerouting. Oh, and it only took about a day for Google to reassure us that they're going to be putting back in an obvious way of saving all of your maps for offline usage. A new CyanogenMod update gave us some insight into Android vulnerabilities. The new sources for CM7 and 9 included a patch for what is called the master key. So what is master key exactly? Well, it's an exploit that apparently can affect a wide array of different devices. Apparently, it can abuse the Android signing mechanism, the safeguard against malicious apps that are trying to act legitimate. The exploit keeps the mechanism from correctly identifying infectious data being installed. So, are our trusty Android devices doomed? No, not really. Google is already taking steps to update the Play Store's own scanners. As far as we're concerned, we just have to keep remembering to update our phones and tablets. And finally, Google Voice and original Google Talk users can rejoice because a feature long missing from the Google Hangout app has finally returned. An option for Call a Phone should now widely be available in the menu for users of the Hangout app in Gmail. If you like to use the web app to make phone calls, this should be a very exciting development. I know I'm happy to use my Google Voice number like this once again. Alright, that should just about do it for this edition of Android Authority Weekly. Don't forget to stay tuned to our channel for all of the great news and coverage, and don't forget our other weekly feature, Q&A, hosted by Chris. As for your next dose of news, meet me back here at the same time and same place. Android Authority, your source for all things Android.